Hello everyone, what's up? On this video, I'm gonna be ranking out the current Predator classes on Predator Hunting Grounds. I say current because they still might add one or two new DLC Predator classes in the future, but as of now, these are the ones that we have, and a lot of people have asked me over the last months to remake my ranking of the Predator classes, because I have already done a video like this, but it was in 2021, so it's like, I think back then we had like half of the classes that we have now. They added so many classes ever since then, they added just so many, so it's gonna be a very different ranking, and they also changed the stats of some of the classes from back then. They buffed and nerfed some stuff here and there in just a few of the classes, so things change a lot. That's why I waited so long to remake this video and just to talk about ranking the class again, because even when they added a new DLC, sometimes they end up like after a few months they change some stats, they nerf it. Usually for Predators it usually nerfs. They usually make DLC classes good at launch, they might nerf something else into the future. But well, here it is, the updated version of my personal ranking of the Predator classes on Hunting Grounds. First, I would like to talk about some of the deciding factors that can make a class be considered very good or very bad in this game right away. Let's start with the specializations, which was something that wasn't even in the game at launch. They only added it later on. First for the fighting, and for a long while only the fighting had the specializations, which added a big advantage over the Predators. Then eventually, after many complaints, they finally decided to add it to the Predators as well. And some classes that nobody really cared much about using, like were started to be considered to be very good just because of that, because some specializations are very bad and some specializations are very good. The gap between some specializations is just very significant. The specializations are enough to just make a class change tire, sometimes one or two tires up or down, just because of the specializations, because they can make a lot of difference on the match. An example of this would be the Elder class. Before the specializations, nobody really cared about using the Elder much. He was just like, cool, oh, it's the Elder class, it means you reach level 150. But stats wise, he was like a slower hunter with less stamina. Sure, he had more energy, but it wasn't really enough to make up for that. People just make fun of, it's the old man, the hunter that doesn't know how to run anymore because he's just slow, low stamina, whatever. But then when they added specializations, they gave him Stalker. Back at the time, Elder was the only class with the Stalker specialization that was given that, and as a lot of people know that I mentioned many times, the Stalker is one of the best specializations in the game. You give 15% damage buff while your stamina is full. It is very easy to control and take advantage of. Fervent only works against the first fighting. Ghost only works for melee, with melee attacks, which is not effective. Usually, the specializations that give damage buff from your ranged weapons are the best ones, and Stalker is specifically for that. Analytic is also very good, but it requires you to scan the fighting, and sometimes that is not always possible, but once you scan, then you get the damage buff from the match until the end. But first you have to scan them, and some people are not very good at that. Stalker is just the easiest one to take advantage of that. And when they added, Elder just became a top tier Predator class at the time, just because of just getting this specialization. Sure, he had low stamina, low speed, whatever, but Stalker was enough to make up for that. And there are perks that allow you to cover for his weaknesses, which is the second factor that I was gonna mention here. There are Predator classes that have like significant weakness, some of them don't. With the ones that don't have it, it's better, because then you can just use utilitarian perks that are just gonna assist you in the match, assist you against fighting the fighting. While some others like the Elder, they have like a big weakness in regards to like, the big weakness that the classes can have would be like low stamina, energy, and HP. So if they have one of those three, which is like in the low side, you might want to use a perk to make up for that, because otherwise it's going to be hard to deal with. The case with the Elder was that since he has low stamina, I would have to use Adrenal Boost on him, which was, sure, I'm going to have, instead of using one of the other better perks, I'm going to have to use Adrenal Boost on the Elder, which is not necessary on the other classes, so there's this disadvantage on him. But he had Stalker to make up for that. But eventually they added classes with Stalker that didn't require me to use Adrenal on them, so I could use other perks, or I didn't have to, or they had like low perk points, whatever. But so at the time, despite having to use Adrenal on Elder to make him more mobile, these specializations to make up for that. But some of the classes don't require that. Some classes don't have any weaknesses, like the Hunter, Jungle Hunter here. He doesn't have any weakness in his stats overall. He has a well-balanced amount of HP, stamina, movement speed, and gear, and perk points. So I can just run the meta build. The meta combination that I mentioned many times in my videos is this one. This one works for any class. You put this on any class that can put it. I mean, the fact, if a class has at least 11 perk points, it's already like a plus for it. That's another factor. The amount of perk points. You just need 11. As long as you have enough perk points to run this combination here, it is considered to be a good class. Or considered, you can do well with the class, you know, just because you can pull this combination. Unless it has like many other weaknesses that can make up for that. But like, first deciding factor. good specializations. This one, for example, like Fervent and Tracker are both good. The amount of in regards to the weaknesses of it, this one doesn't have any weaknesses. If the class has a weakness, a big weakness in regards to like the Elder, you need to put Adreno on him. Unless he has like something that is another good stat that is very good to make up for it, it's gonna be a bad one. Well, let's say the Berserker. The Berserker also has low stamina. You might want to use Adreno on him, but he only has shit specializations. So yeah, it's completely, there's nothing to make up for that. Classes with like Scout, they might have more perk points, but the HP is so low that you are kind of forced to use Impenetrable on them. If you're forced to use Impenetrable on a class to make it as good as like the base class, which is like Hunter, it's just like a big disadvantage. Other thing is the energy, other deciding factor, the energy on the classes. They can make a lot of difference, because you need the energy for several reasons: to stay cloaked for longer, use thermal, use a lot of plasma, because plasma capacity is one of the best weapons in this game. So the more energy is usually the better. And at night mode, you always gonna be forced to use thermal vision, otherwise you won't be able to see much. So energy is a big factor in this game. It helps a lot in using stuff. In energy overloading or having to get uncloaked can sometimes risk getting you killed, because every time your energy reaches 0, the fighting is gonna see you, it's gonna spot you, gonna hear you because it makes noise, and they're gonna be able to spot you. It's gonna prevent you from continuing to attack. You're gonna have to retreat away, you know. So usually the more energy, the better. Hunter, like the Jungle Hunter, the default class, has, in my opinion, like low energy for my standards, because I use a lot of energy. I spend like the whole match in thermal vision. I use a lot of plasma. So for me, Jungle Hunter, or like the default class, the only weakness for them, it's supposed to be a well-balanced class, but for me, by my standards as of now, after playing this game for so long, it has low energy. For me, Jungle Hunter, even City Hunter, which was already at time considered to be like a hunter with more energy, is too low for me. Like after I played with Bionic Launch, that was the amount of energy that was like the optional for me, which they nerfed, by the way, which sucks, but well, it happened. So big factors in deciding how good a Predator class is specializations, energy, and stats like, I mean, HP. It doesn't have to be that much, but as long as it's well balanced, the amount of HP, stamina, movement speed, gear, perk points, just well balanced, you know. And if they have a big weakness, they need to have like a good trade-off. They have to have something good to make up for it. Okay, so let's start with the ranking I made here. There are so many. Oh my god. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really tested many of the classes. I haven't used some of these classes in a while, so I'm just doing it as I remember, as I do it by evaluating their stats and how I remember when I use them. Because I have used all these classes. I have used them a lot of times. Some are more than others. I have tested a lot of them in private matches against good fighting, so I have a good idea of what is good to work or not. So in D tier, of course, Berserker. Berserker is just on its own. Like I make a lot of people make fun of the fact that like people say, oh, Mr. Black or Viking, they are better Berserker, right? Yeah, not only because Berserker is supposed to be the class that is used for melee, and those classes are also made to be like used for melee, so they are like a better at that. But pretty much like every single class in this game is a better Berserker. Pretty much. He has like just shit specializations. None of these ones are actually good. Brute is one of the worst ones. Savage, oh, quick claiming gets to HP. Yeah, but what if you go second wind or claiming? Because if it's against a good fighting, they're gonna second wind you, so you're not gonna get healed. In range, it is not bad, but it doesn't really make that much difference. Like, it's bugged that once it's triggered, you're always gonna have the speed and stamina buff, but that more damage is more important, or like trackers, so you can always find the fighting even on their mother. His specializations are bad, so it's not just not worth it. He has low perk points, which is terrible. It's terrible. Like, you cannot run good combinations. Not only you run large pounce medic and downrange, which is a good combination, one of the best ones in the game, but he has low stamina, so be able to move around fast, you might want to use Adreno, because with this current amount of stamina that he has, if a bunch of scouts with double time want to chase you down and kill you, they're gonna do it, because you cannot escape from them. You need more stamina. But if you put Adrenal boost, you only have 5 points left, which doesn't allow very good combinations. You can put large punch if you want more medikits, but if you want to use downrange or fearless because he's for melee, you only have one point left, so he doesn't allow many good pair combinations. He has gear points, or he can carry a lot of gear, sure. He doesn't even use ulti gear points, because if you try to use the maximum amount of gear points that you can add in this game is 13, so you don't even get to use his biggest strength, which would be like the gear points. And there are classes that can also has this amount of gear points, but they're just much better overall in regards to the other stats. So he's just completely inferior in regards to everything. Like, there are other classes that can also carry this much gear, and they have more perk points, they have better specialization, they have better stats. So Berserker is just the worst one. People say, oh, Berserker is tanky. No, he's not. Really, it's he can take like over the Hunter. I tested this in private. There are videos of me testing this. He can take like one more sniper shot. Scout base is like 5 sniper shots to second win. With I think like I use it assault class without Bane, just scout class normal. Hunter is 6, Berserker is 7. They're like 5 sniper shots, 6 sniper shots, 7. So it's one more sniper shot. It doesn't make that much difference. If Scout with Impenetrable, he can become just as tanky as the Berserker, because some of these classes, they have like passive abilities that they don't mention in this game. Like, energy is one of them. Energy, I'm saying, I'm gonna talk about the energy of the classes, but it doesn't mention here. These stats here are not even right. Like here, Celtic, Chopper, and Scar, they appear to have the same stats, but this is wrong. Chopper has way less HP than Scar and Celtic. Scar has way more movement speed and stamina than Celtic. Same thing with Chopper. Chopper is one of the fastest classes. He has like maximum stamina. But here is wrong. They appear that they have the same amount of gear. It's wrong. So we cannot trust the in-game stats. At least not for the latest classes, because Illfonic just fucked everything up in this one. So they don't mention the stuff like energy. Energy is something that you have to test it on the classes that I learned just about testing it. Other thing like stamina regeneration, because Wolf and Emissary, they both have low stamina here. Not even like, it's not completely accurate here. I think Wolf has a little more, but Wolf has better stamina regeneration. So even though they have low stamina, with Wolf you don't really feel that much of a drag by the low stamina because his regeneration is faster, and it's a stat that is not mentioned here. Another thing that some classes have like infinite cloak or infinite thermal, like there's no energy drainage while using that. Berserker in regards to energy, he's like okay. There's just like, I feel like he has a good amount of energy, but it feels like he drains faster than some of the other ones, like Cloak and Thermal. It drains way too fast, so he doesn't really have anything good on him. He only has weaknesses, doesn't really have like any good point. Like his extra HP, I don't consider a good point because it really doesn't make much difference in practice. Next one, C-tier, goddammit, probably Viking. Viking is like the Berserker with more perk points and better specializations. I'm gonna put Samurai as well. Samurai is like the same thing. I mean, he's like a faster Berserker with less HP, better specializations. Perk points are still bad. 10. I mean, we need the optional for Predators in this game tends to be like between 11 and 13. 11 13 is usually enough for the best combinations that you need. Only the Elder, which I try, I don't use downrange Medic and Light Pulse, I did another combination, but it only works in day maps. Now that we have the variant of night maps, which were not a launch, it changes everything. So like, some classes might be better at certain situations, like day or night maps, or certain maps that you might require a different class, or also ping affects this as well. You might want to use classes that are better for energy and plasma if you have high ping. So like, this ranking is more estimative, you know? It's not like a definitive way because there are so many factors that can affect the class. And also like the weapons that you use. I mean, if you're someone that only use melee and you're not good with using ranged weapons, you're probably not gonna do well with the top tier classes in this game because they are mainly good because they are efficient in using the best weapons in the game, which are ranged weapons like Plasma Caster, Plasma Pistol, Bow, Combi Stick for throws. The Smart Disc is something else. Like the Smart Disc, if you have it with high sensitivity, if you can use the Smart Disc very well, which I don't think is going to be the case for most players in this game, which is why I'm not using the Smart Disc as much of a variant. It doesn't really matter the class you use. Like if the Smart Disc can be so powerful when you can turn it around fast and use it with high sensitivity, that you can use it on a Berserker. I have seen players in private matches use the Berserker with the Smart Disc and still win, just because of the Smart Disc. Because with the Smart Disc it doesn't really matter, because the Smart Disc can be so strong as long as you're able to do multiple hits in the air, that you can pretty much like it can be strong in any class because the weapon is so strong that it doesn't really matter the class, and you don't need much of a damage buff. You don't need like a downrange with the Smart Disc. You don't need like a specialization like Stalker for the Smart Disc because the Smart Disc base damage is so high that it doesn't really matter. Okay, which else could I put here? No, not this one. Are just these two? Oh, Emissary. Probably Emissary. He's like a faster Berserker with less energy. Pretty much, yeah. I think that's how I would define him. Let's see the Emissary first. He's very similar to the Berserker stats-wise. Same amount of perk points, which limits him a lot. He's faster, but his stamina is still bad. His HP, I think he's tankier. This is also wrong. At launch, he had a little less HP than the Berserker, but then they buffed it. They made a shadow buff to his HP, so he's a little tankier. But still, like I said, it doesn't make that much difference in practice because the fighting damage is so high in this game that it doesn't really help that much. His specializations are still like 2 are the same as Berserker. Rightful is a little better than Brute, but still like it's just like I'm just gonna ranking him higher just because of the extra speed, and he has a little more HP, so he's a little better than the Berserker, but his energy is low. I mean, especially by my standards, because like I said, I use a lot of energy, so he's not a good class overall. Next one is Samurai. Samurai, if he had like more perk points, he would be okay. The problem is that he has perks on the low side. You can try to put maybe when I use him, I try to use this combination here. Medic and large pulse are very good. I would like to use this on him, but then I cannot use downrange on him, which is a big problem. Another problem is that his stamina is in the low side, so you might want to use Adrenals. That's the problem with him. The classes that have like a big weakness that requires you, like I said, to use a perk to make up for it, like you want to use Adrenal for classes that have low stamina. You might want to use Modify Reserve or Energy Cell for classes that have low energy. You might want to use Impenetrable for a class that has low HP. But usually those classes, if they have a lot of perk points to make up for that, it can be okay, because then you still have like you sacrifice one slot to use one of those perks to make up for the weakness, but then you still have like enough perk points to use the other good perks. If I could put Medic here, it would be maybe okay, but I cannot, so it's a problem for me. The perk points are a problem, because, and stats wise, he's like between a Hunter and a Berserker. But like he doesn't do a good job as either. He has like the weakness of the Berserker and the weakness of the Hunter. Like he doesn't really have the strength of either. He's not as tanky as a Berserker, but he still feels slow. And as a Hunter, he's like not as fast as the Hunter. So like he's in this gray area between Berserker and the Hunter, without much of the good points of either. Which it's so the only good thing about Samurai is the Ghost specialization, which is the best one for melee. But like I mentioned many times, melee is not the best approach against the fighting because of how insane the fighting damage can be applied to the Predator at close range. So even though it's the best specialization for melee, melee is not the meta in this game. It's not the most efficient way to play as the Predator, so it's just too risky. And there are better classes that also have ghosts, that have better stats, that have more stamina and more perk points. So like there are classes like the Valkyrie or Amazon. Not only they don't need to use Adrenal because they have a lot of stamina, but they have more perk points, so you can use downrange Medic Large Pulse, downrange Medic Large Pulse Impenetrable or Fearless if you want to go for melee, so they're just much better overall than him. Other one will be Viking. Viking, another class that you need to use Adrenal to make it work, but at least you can use this combination here. And if you're gonna go for melee, if you're gonna use the Alpha Seeker or the Axe, you don't really need Fearless. The meta perks in this game are pretty much like Large Pulse, Medic, downrange. Sometimes Little Lens I would use with the Elder a lot, but it only works in day maps. It was a meta build with the Elder for day maps, but in nights it doesn't make that much difference. It's supposed to make the laser of the Plasma Caster invisible, but it only makes it in day maps. In night maps you can still see it clearly, so it's pretty much useless. Impenetrable is, a lot of people thought it was a very good perk. I don't think it makes so much difference. I only feel like much of a difference if you stack Impenetrable with high advantage. But that requires a lot of perk points. I only use this combination of stacking Impenetrable with high advantage, with Wolf and Scout, and also Amazon as well. But if you do this, you will not want to be able to use other perks like Large Pulse Medic, which is this combination is just good because you want to have 4 Medicas which you can heal at a very fast rate. So you don't have to always rely on piggies. Healing faster allows you to get back to the action faster. Helps you to prevent fighting from chasing you and trying to prevent your healing, whatever. But yeah, in regards to perk points, Viking is okay. Its specialization has Vicious. Vicious is like okay, it's not bad. I think it's better than the ones that the other classes in the style has. So it's okay. It's okay. Oh wait, okay, I'm back here. Gear is okay. Also balanced amount of gear points. The only problem is, like I said, he's still like slow. He's just like a Berserker with more perk points and better specialization, but he's still like slow with low stamina. Adrenal can help with that. Which was the next one? Oh wait a minute. I think I forgot to put another one here. Yeah, Chopper. I'm gonna put Chopper here. Should I or B? But I think B. He shouldn't be at B. He's just he's just too bad. Wait, I think I need to add another tire here. Oh wait, add one below. I think I need, yeah. I think I missed it one. It needs to be F. It should be like this because I need another tire. But Chopper should be here just because of his shit energy. These stats here are wrong, by the way. Chopper is like, he has max stamina and speed. The big problem with him is that he has low HP. This is wrong. This is wrong. He has like the lowest amount of HP in the game, which is like same as Scout. But Scout, at least he has a lot of perk points, so you can use Impenetrable and still have good ice slots to use good perks. While with Chopper, If you put impenetrable to making usable, you only have 4 points left, so you're fucked. Like I said, if a class has a big weakness, at least give me a lot of perk points so I can, you know, use good perks to make up for his weakness. And not only he has low HP, but he also has a really low energy, even less than the scout. He's like a worse scout. Sure, he can carry traps, which are something that a lot of people complain that the scout could not do, but he just like the perk points just ruin everything. And he has even less energy than the scout. He has low HP, way too low energy. You can barely stay cloaked and use thermal for much long, you know. And they made him like a melee class because they gave him like specs. I mean, discipline can be used for everything, but Ghost and Warrior, like a melee class with low HP. Like, why would you do this? And low perk points. Like, he's just terrible overall. The low energy, the low perk points, low HP. You can try to, you could, even if you use this, like imagine you have to use all your perk points just to make up for his weakness. You cannot use any perks that can be assist you in the match. You have to use energy cell because his energy is so bad. Or use impenetrable because his HP is so low. You can try to use like large palm thematic, but if you do this, you have good perks. You have this good combination, but then your HP is too low. You're just gonna get melted so fast, and your energy is too low as well. So I think that stats-wise, Chopper is just a pain in the ass. Like it's just a shame because I like the skulls on his back, but his stats-wise, he just pisses me off because he has like the stats that really piss me off and don't make me want to use him. On the next tire, C tire would be. Probably the scout classes, kind of. Here's the scout. Alpha probably around here. I still think Alpha is a little better, but I can place them out here. Exalt probably, yeah. Maybe Valkyrie, but I mean, it gives. I mean, Amazon is just the way that Amazon is next to the Falconer. Valkyrie maybe. Valkyrie might be B though, but I was gonna place Amazon here, but Amazon is a better Valkyrie a little bit. So maybe maybe C plus. I don't know. Maybe Valkyrie could be like a C plus. I'm gonna put it on here because the difference is not that significant. But all these 5 classes are in the same tire. They are classes to have a lot of stamina and speed, but they tend to have low energy, and they don't really have anything significant to make up for that. They usually have like low HP, low energy, high stamina and speed, but they're not as bad as Chopper. They usually like they're better versions of Chopper. Let's start with the base one. All these classes are kind of based on the Scout, which is the class that is supposed to be super fast, super high maximum stamina and speed, but he just has low gear. They all have like kind of low gear on the low side, the low HP, low energy. With the Scout, you are forced to use impenetrable, which is a downside. Because, I mean, why use Scout instead of Hunter? Because, I mean, you need to use Impenetrable to make it equal to Hunter. So, like, and you cannot use this combination here, the downrange medic large bounce combination. You can try to use it on him, but then his HP is just too low. I think that overall Hunter is just a better version of Scout. He has Analytic, which is a good specialization, but City Hunter has Analytic. I think City Hunter is overall a better Scout. For a better Analytic than Scout. And Celtic and Pirate are a better version of City Hunter, so it just... There are better options. Analytic is very good specialization, like I said, but there are better classes that you can use this on. Better classes with more energy, because you need more energy to use Analytic, because you want to stay with thermal vision for longer, whatever. Sure, Scout has infinite thermal, but you're gonna be cloaked, and while he cloaked, his energy is gonna drain fast. So he's just like not there. I mean, like City Hunter comparison, City Hunter doesn't need impenetrable. Sure, he has like less perk points, but he doesn't need to use impenetrable. So like, even though Scout has more perk points, what is the point if you're gonna have to sacrifice one slot just to make it equal to the base class in the game? With City Hunter, you can use this, which allows you to have a lot more energy. So City Hunter is like a Scout that doesn't need impenetrable and has way more energy than him. It's overall, it's just, and it can carry traps. So City Hunter has always been a better version of it. Scout for me just like too low energy, not enough HP. You're forced to use impenetrable, so not the most efficient one. Alpha is kind of like, he has a little bit more HP than Scout, but he doesn't have the damage resistance, the bullet damage resistance, which is a hidden stat. There's like different percentage of damage resistance for some of the classes, which they don't mention in the game because Illfonic is stupid, but whatever. With Alpha, you might want to use impenetrable on him, might or not. I mean, it doesn't require as much as Scout, but you might want to use it, so you can try to play like this combination. But he's still like, he doesn't have his HP is still in the low side. You might want to use impenetrable on him. I'm not a big fan of him. Never been, not only because of design, but his stats too. His best specialization is assassin. He's kind of made for melee. Oh yeah, also another stat that I forgot to mention, hidden stat. The melee damage passive buff, which some classes have more. Like Berserker has 10% more melee damage buff. Viking has 13, so that's another reason why Viking is better. Samurai has 6%. Alpha also has 6. Alpha is just like this class that is like a mixture of Hunter and Scout. But still, like, I just think that his HP is still in the low side. And Assassin is like 2 situations. And he has low energy. His energy is way too low. So which is why I'm going to be placing all these classes with like low energy, low HP, and high speed and stamina. They're all going to be in the same tier for me. I placed them around the... Sure, I think that Exile might be a little better than both the Scout and the Alpha. But still, they're around the same level. So I'm just going to put it in the same one. Exile, I have played with him without Impenetrable. If you put Impenetrable on him to try to make him more tanky, it sacrifices too much because he only has 10 power points. I have played with him without that. I tried to use this combination here, maybe. I think that was it. Same one that I used it with City Hunter because he also has Analytic, which I use it as well. But I think that overall, like, he's in the same level. Like, to be honest, it's just 2 situations. There might be some situations which this can work better, mainly because of the traps with Discipline. Discipline removes the clicking noise. When I used this class on privates, it worked well because I used traps with Discipline. I was just like hiding in the branches without the clicking noises, just hiding and throwing traps, which is something that I cannot do with the Scout because the Scout cannot carry traps. But traps don't always work. Sometimes they can work in a match and make you win, sometimes they don't. So it's just 2 situations. I'm just gonna rank in the same spot. Falconer is around the same thing. HP is still in the low side. I remember like I had to use Impenetrable on this class. Like without Impenetrable it was way too hard. Usually this pair combination here. He has Assassin, Tracker, which is good. They're just like okay classes, but they're still like they have like some big weakness for me that kind of prevents me from ranking higher, which is usually like energy or HP, like I said. Falconer is also here. Valkyrie, kind of like, she doesn't... I don't think she recovers Impact. I think she has a little more HP than the other ones, which is why I said she could be a little better. But low energy, low gear points. And his specializations are not that good. They're more made for melee. I mean, Fervent can work for anything, but Ghost is clearly made for melee. I would say like she's in the same tier as the other ones because she doesn't have better specializations. Maybe that could be it. Because at least Exalt has an Exalt and Scout have Analytic or Assassin for Alpha and Exalt also has Assassin. Falconer has Tracker. Fervent, I don't consider Fervent to be that good because he only works for the first guy. I much prefer, if I'm gonna go for damage, I think that Analytic or Stalker is better. Or if I don't need damage buff because like I'm using the disc, whatever, I'm just gonna go for Tracker just so I can always find the last guy. So that's why I decided to put Valkyrie here. Let's go back here. I'm thinking because like I'm not like decided really because some of the classes I have not tested much lately. So I'm just like reminding from my head. I might put just the Amazon here. Because Amazon is like a better Valkyrie. She's like a tanker Valkyrie. Amazon, they made it at launch. At launch, Amazon was almost like top tier. She could be like top tier. What fucked Amazon up was that they fixed the specialization. I mean, I still have like my Amazon. I mean, these ones are top tier. Amazon Tracker and my Amazon Stalker, I still managed to keep it. Oh wait, go back. But like, has Amazon is supposed, because when they made Amazon, they launched Amazon in Pirate. These specializations are bugged, so you could use other specializations. But the ones that it has right now, they kind of, I mean, they fixed it, but they kind of nerfed the class in the same way. But even then, it's still like not that bad. It's a good class because she's like, I mean, like I said, the other classes that tend to have a lot of stamina and movement speed, they have low HP to balance it out. Amazon doesn't, so she's like, she doesn't really have any big weakness. She didn't have any big weakness. I mean, besides she only has like low gear points, and before she had like the specializations. I would say like right now, the only weakness of Amazon are the specializations kind of. I mean, gear points you can go around it. I mean, traps don't always work, so sometimes you might not even need them. So Amazon is like a better version of like Scout, Scout. What's the other one? Valkyrie, because she's like all of these classes in the lower tier here in the C tier. She's like a tanker version of every single class. She still has like the same amount of stamina and speed, pretty much. Like, his stamina and speed is still high, in the same level that Valkyrie, Scout, Alpha, Exalt, Falconer has, but she's tankier. She's even tankier than Hunter, so like she has more HP. She's one of the classes that is the tankers in the game. Not that it makes that much difference, but like, it doesn't make that much difference in comparison to like Hunter, but in comparison to the Scout, yes, it does. Like if you compare Amazon to Scout or even Valkyrie, the gap between one and the other, it is significant. You feel more of a difference. Like Scout and without Impenetrable and Berserker, whatever. When you compare like the extremes in this game of energy, HP, it does make a little bit more difference. And if you put Impenetrable here, I feel like it's more noticeable because she's already like has HP in the higher side. And with Impenetrable, you can feel a little bit more, not that much. But so she's kind of like in this area here, which she was top tier at launch. I mean, if you could put Tracker or like a Stalker on her, she could still be top tier. But as of now, because they nerfed the specialization, she's like in this middle area. But stats wise, if you just look at the stats, she's pretty good because she doesn't have anything weakness on these stats, only the specializations. A tier. I think that in the end, I mean the Hunter class ended up getting here. Hunter, Capture, and no, Jungle Hunter, Capture, and Hunter. The base class in the game, like it's just a well-balanced class. Good, mainly good for ranger combat. It has Fervent and Tracker. It can allow good pair combinations like downrange medic large pounce, which was back in the day before specializations. This was like the class that most people would use in privates. Just like good class overall, very good. It has Tracker, mainly because I'm putting here mainly because the Tracker, because Tracker is very good. If Amazon had Tracker, she would probably be above it. Yeah. Even it thought Amazon has energy a little lower. She has, I think it might be a little less energy. Energy on Amazon is the lower side, but at least she has like more HP and speed and stamina to make up for that. So I think the amount of speed and stamina and perk points, everything, the whole combination of the class kind of makes up for the energy on the lower side. But yeah, for sure, I think that if Amazon had more perk point, had better specializations, she could be in S. That's just to show how much difference does it make. She could be up to S tier just because of the specialization. Other classes here, I mean, Jungle Hunter, and Capture are all the same class. They just they might look different, but like I said, stats wise they are the same thing. Okay, other one that I could place here would probably be City Hunter. City Hunter, because mainly he's like a hunter with less perk points, but he has analytic and more energy. That's like how I define City Hunter. He's still good overall because analytic. Only big problems are the perk points. So you cannot use downrange medic and large pounce, but you can still use other good combinations. You can try use this modifier reserve or protection if you don't want to lose your mask, or you can try to trade one of these for downrange if you want to stack the damage from downrange with analytic. I still think that even now, City Hunter is still a good class. Other ones would be Mr. Black probably. Mr. Black mainly because of high energy, good perk points, infinite thermal vision. He has more energy than both Jungle Hunter and City Hunter. He can use, mainly because of Titilan's build. Titilan's build that I used on him was effective in private games. His big weakness are the specializations. He doesn't have the best ones. Visage is, like I said, okay. It's the okay one. It's okay. But it's just not the best one. And Titilan's only works in night maps, unfortunately. You might want to just use downrange medic and large pounce if it's going to be night maps on him. And he's really slow. The good thing is that his stamina is okay though. You don't need that drain on him, but he's really slow. So that's a big disadvantage in certain situations. For him, I think I'm mainly putting him on this tier for specifically day maps. In night maps, I don't think it's his high energy and even like HP on the higher side is enough to make up for his low speed. But at least in day maps, you can use Detail-Lens, and Detail-Lens can help you a lot. But if it's a day map, I would maybe place in a lower tier. That's the problem with this game. Like I said, these variables such as day, night maps, high, low ping, those kind of things can affect how good a class can be in a certain situation. Even certain maps, whatever a map that is bigger might be more efficient to have a class that has more stamina. So like that's why I usually put these classes in the same tier. But depending on certain variables, some class can become better than the other depending on the situation. So that's why sometimes it's hard for me to rank these classes. But I would say that Mr. Black overall is good here, mainly for the Detail-Lens build that I did on him, which I have videos showcasing this build. Other one for this tier would probably be the Stalker or some Stalker class like Elder and Cleo. They are like the Stalker classes that still require you to use Adrenal on them. Cleo is overall, stats wise, you might think that she's very good. But the low parry points kind of take that away a little bit. I need Adrenal on her to make her work well. because like I said, both Hair and Elder kind of require Adreno to make it well, to be able to be more mobile, especially if you want to take advantage of this Stalker. You want to always test Stamina to be able to recover fast, so you can always get the damage buff. So both Cleo and Elder can use this well. I mean, they have to use Adreno. Then you can put this if you want, downrange. If you want to stack, or instead of downrange, you can put Medic. But if she had more stamina and I didn't have to use Adreno, she could be placed it higher. If I just wanted to be able to use this combination here, I mean, technically I can, but at the same time I cannot, because if I don't use Adreno and I have like scouts with double time chasing me, it's gonna be hard to get away. So just the problem with the stamina, it's what prevents Cleo from going up there. But otherwise her stats are pretty good. I mean, HP, movement speed, she's fast, she has good gear points, she can carry all the gear in the game if you want. Overall it's good. She's a good class overall. It's just like the stamina for me is a problem for her to be more mobile, you know. Elder is kind of the same thing. A lot of people say Cleopatra is a better Elder in everything. I mean, not specifically. Maybe at night. If you're gonna play at night mode, sure. The reason why Elder, in my opinion, can be better at day maps is because it can use Detail Lens. And Detail Lens costs 5 points. So if I try to use this build that I use on Elder on her, it's not gonna be as effective. Because I wanted to use downrange here. And with Elder, it allows me to do that. With the Elder, this is the build for Elder, which I'm not using Medic and Large Pounce, but it's just very powerful. It's like a glass cannon class in the way that I don't have like the utilitary perks of downrange, Medic and Large Pounce to help me survive, but I can do an insane amount of high damage to the fighting because I'm stacking downrange with Stalker, and I have Detail Lens, which allows me to do charged plasma shots on the fighting before they can even see it. So this was a very good combination, that allowed me to win many private matches. And Elder has high energy. Both Cleo and Elder have high energy. I think they are the ones with the highest amount of energy in this tier. The only difference is that Mr. Black has infinite thermal. He's the only one with infinite thermal vision in this one. So in practice, if you're using thermal vision, you might feel like Mr. Black has more because his energy is not draining, or you're using thermal. While if you're using Elder or Cleo, you're using thermal vision, your energy is gonna be draining as usual. But these three here are the ones with the best energy in my opinion. I mean, for me, I tend to use them. I started using these classes more than the first ones, just because I like more energy, so I always want more energy. But Elder is still good overall. It's just like this pair combination here is very good. Has a very good high power against the fighting. It's just risky because if you only have 2 Medicus which you can heal at slower pace, you have to rely on Piggies. He has a weakness. Like, there's a big trade-off. It's very good because Adreno covers his weakness of low stamina. Detail Lens and downrange maximize Stalker and Plasma usage, but it's very powerful. It has a very offensive power, but you don't have a very good defense against the fighting, so it's a risky. It has a big trade-off. Now for the S tier, I mean, it's just the ones that are remaining here. Of course, it's gonna be off them. But wait, let me put in the Wolf, Bionic, Celtic, Scar. Those are the S tier as of now, pretty much. But why? They are all classes with high energy. If you guys take a look here, they are all classes with high energy. They always have high energy and they have a lot of good stats and specializations that make up for any possible weaknesses. Let's talk about Wolf first. Wolf's main weakness is just the gear points. That's the main weakness. Everything else is pretty good. But I'm gonna say, he doesn't have an Analytic or Stalker. Yes, but he has Assassin. Wolf is the best class for the kind of gameplay of coming close to the fighting to throw the combat stick and use the bow or use the pistol like that. Because in many situations like that, if the fighting, if you hit the fighting with the combat stick, something that they tend to do is to turn their back on you. So you're gonna, in the next shot that you're doing against the fighting, you're gonna probably be able to hit it in the back because they're gonna turn around to you. So that's very effective. So the gameplay of coming close to the fighting, I think the Wolf might be the best one, especially because he's one of the fastest class in the game. He might not have as much stamina as like the other ones here on the C tier, but he's the fastest. He's fastest and often. He and Chopper are the ones with the highest amount of movement speed. Wolf and Chopper has the highest amount of speed, and speed is very important because the faster you are, the harder it can be for the fighting to hit you with bullets, and also to run behind cover. Sometimes the fighting is gonna snipe you, but if you are just a little bit faster, you can run behind the rock, run behind the building to cover, and that's gonna prevent them from getting that sniper shot that might kill you in time, you know. So speed can be very important in this game. So Wolf is mainly here because of high energy, infinite thermal, high speed, overall good perk points. I usually will just run this combination here. He has more perk points than he needs, to be honest. If you want to use a detail lens build on him, you can try to use it. I used this for a while. But with Plasma, most times I use Plasma, I feel like Assassin doesn't work very well with Plasma. Assassin is more, like I said, when the fighting turns their back on you and you try to shoot them with the bow or the pistol at close range. That's more when they turn their back on you. And Assassin gives 20% damage buff. It's higher than Stalker and Analytic. But you can still try to use it like this. It's just like the situations where I managed to get the Plasma on the fighting's back is just a little bit too situational. But you can still do well. Some people like to use... I try to use this build here on him, which is supposed to just make him very tanky. Impenetrable on its own, I don't think it makes much difference. But if you put high advantage, it does. It's just that the trade-off of this build is that he can become way tankier than we're used to seeing Predators be in this game. But he doesn't have large Pound-O-Matic, so you might have to rely on piggies. You cannot recover very fast. But still, it's a good combination. I think that Wolf is up there because of these reasons. Another one, Horiba Bionic. Bionic is like the Stalker that doesn't need Adrenal. Of course, he has low power points, so he wouldn't be able to do it. Like, he's like a Elder with more energy. That's pretty much it. And the focus on Stalker is mainly Plasma usage, so the more energy you have, the better. For how long I try to use this build on here, same as Elder. And I mean, sure, he has low power points, he cannot use a third perk, but he doesn't need Adrenal anyway. Like, in comparison to the Elder has to use Adrenal here anyway, so if I use this build here, in comparison to the Elder, he's like a better Elder. He's an Elder with more energy. That's it, pretty much. And I think he's a little faster too. He's like he's a faster Elder with more stamina, more energy, low perk points, but like, it's fine. It's manageable. He used to be better. His energy while using Thermal and Cloak would not drain at all at launch, but then they nerfed his energy, or maybe it was a bug. I mean, we never know with Illfonic what is true or not. But he's up here. I mean, Bionic is still one of the best classes in the game. If you're not going to use much Plasma, if you're going to use like mainly maybe Plasma Pistol, I would use him a lot with the Plasma Pistol, just shooting Plasma Pistol from branches. In that situation, I don't need this. I would maybe use large... I actually, last times I used him, mainly because I'm playing mostly from the branches. Like, I'm not using Stamina because in the branches there's not much usage of Stamina in the branches. I wouldn't even use downrange because I always have this Stalker buff. If you always have this Stalker buff, which is 15, sometimes depending against the fighting, you don't need downrange in this situation. If you're always having the damage buff from Stalker, if you can control your Stamina well, you might not need it. So for him, I would like this combination right here, which is protection, so I don't lose my mask, especially at night maps, because you don't want to lose your mask in night maps, because it's going to make it much harder for you to be able to see the fighting. He has high gear, so he's a good class overall. Only problem is would be like maybe perk points, that's all. Just the perk points. Only weakness would be this. Maybe if you could put down range, it would be better. But even without the range, you can still manage if you can use the Stalker well. But he's a better Elder, more energy, high energy. He's fast. He has good stamina. It's all manageable, so he's very good. Other one would be Pirate. Even though I think this Pirate looks so stupid, he has Analytic. He's like a very good Analytic. He's like a better City Hunter. He's like a City Hunter that can have more perk points with more even more energy. So like, he's a City Hunter with more gear points, more perk points, and more energy. So it's pretty good. Even though it looks so stupid, it just looks so stupid. And I think that it used to have a Stalker and Tracker. I think both, either Analytic, Stalker, and Tracker, they're all like in the same level for me. So either could be still placed in this tier. I mean, when they changed it, they fixed the specializations for Pirate and Amazon. It didn't affect Pirate ranking because he still had, they gave him Analytic. If Amazon had Analytic, he would still be in a top tier, but since they only gave it, the best one that they got to it was Ghost. That's why I ended up like going to a lower tier. So Pirate is up here. And then Celtic and Scar. Celtic is another Analytic variant. I think that he's just as good as Pirate. Maybe Pirate is a little bit better, but it's not significant enough for me to place it in another tier. I think that Celtic is pretty good still. Especially because you can use this build here, which was effective in day maps. You cannot use this on Pirate because Pirate only has 12 points. I like this build on Celtic. It was very effective. I managed to win against 4 support field medics with this build. Detail lens is very useful, and the recovery of the medic, even without large pounds, it can still be useful. So like, Celtic is just another better Analytic. Like, both Celtic and Pirate are very better City Hunters. Another City Hunter with more perk points, gear around the same, and more energy. Pirate has more energy than Celtic, which is why it might be considered a little bit better than Celtic, but still, I think they're in the same level overall. And then you have Scar. Scar, which is very similar to Bionic. He might be in the same situation. He might be a little bit better than Bionic just because of his higher stamina. But I think that Bionic still has a little bit more energy. But energy with Dan is very high. It's around the same level. The difference is not significant. I think that the highest difference is in regards to the stamina. Stalker has a. I just feel like I can move around much better with him. Like he's like a. He has his stamina could be like close to scout level. He has better stamina than the Bionic. At least it feels like it. I mean, I haven't like measured it, but he might be a little bit. But it's still in the same tire. I still put it in the same tire because Bionic is still pretty good. But Scar, I use it in the same way as Bionic. Just focus on Stalker specialization. He's very good. HP, stamina, speed is all good. Gear, only weakness again, same as Bionic. It's just the perk points. If I could put downrange here, that would be better. Maybe a little bit better. Protection, I really like protection, but it depends in the situation. Sometimes protection can save your life and save you from winning a match. Because if you lose your match too early, it can make you lose in the end. It's situational. I know it's situational, but sometimes I just like to have it. So sometimes, especially at night, sometimes I might want to use protection instead of downrange. And I might want to use medic and my spawns together, so I might not want to use downrange. But against certain fireteams, if the fireteams are all playing with like supports and Dantes, they're gonna be so tanky that you might be forced to use downrange. It's like stack downrange together with Stalker or Analytic because you need more damage. It just is too situational. So well, I mean, this was my ranking. It's still, I think that like a lot of people keep asking me all the time, oh, what's the definitive best class? There is no, what should I use to win, to have my higher chance of winning? There are so many variables in this game, and doesn't matter how good a Predator class is, the fighting is still so overpowered that they're always gonna have the advantage. Like, even though I made this ranking here, like, you guys can have a better idea of my opinion in regards to the classes. Some people might disagree here and there, but well, that's okay. Everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. Doesn't really matter if you guys use a S-tier class. Just because you guys are using a S-tier class doesn't mean you guys are gonna win against a good premate that is using meta fighting classes and builds, because the fighting is overpowered. So like, doesn't matter how good a Predator class is on this game. Like, it really doesn't matter. The fighting still has the advantage. So like, don't stress so much about, oh, what is the best class? What should I use? What is the best build? Even if you use the best build, you're still in a disadvantage against the fighting, so it's not gonna make that much difference. The Predator, I mean, a lot of people say like against a premate, against a fighting premate, all Predator classes are F-tier. They're all bad. They're all bad because the fighting is just so overpowered. But well, anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my new ranking, my updated ranking, 2023 ranking of the Predator classes on Hunting Grounds. See you guys in the next video.